Takes off his gloves, pulls a cigar case from his jacket, its silver frame reflecting the blurred reds and greens of apples, the golden skins of pears. Alma pinches the matchbox out of her vest pocket. The cup of her fingers guards the little flame. Wheeler inclines his head to puff life into the cigar, a sweet note of vanilla. Then the wind shifts, twists around them, bringing the waft of blood and offal from the butcher shop across the road. "You don't need to look so grim anymore." Alma keeps her voice low as she tucks the matches away. "Your fine friend the judge is long gone." Wheeler licks cigar paper off his lower lip, spits into the gutter. "Do I look grim?" he says, and there, in his voice only, is the glitter of dark humor. Alma grins. "Did you arrange it?" she says. Wheeler lets a column of smoke drift out of his mouth, narrows his eyes. A man brushes past Alma toward the fruit shop, holding a sheaf of papers and a little tin pot. He pastes a bill onto the door jamb, whistling, so close to them that Alma smells the bitter sweetness of the glue. "Macaulay versus Dobbs," the bill says. "Our man versus Tacoma." A boxing match set for the coming Wednesday at Chainlocker Saloon. She studies the paper with interest while waiting for the man to move off. "There was no kid," Alma says when they're alone under the awning once more. "Joe and I saw it happen. A crane lost its load, spooked the horses. How he ended up under them. Bad luck. Maybe something else." "Are you suggesting he was pushed?" Wheeler tucks his gloves into his coat pocket. "I'm suggesting that whoever told your friend about it added some embellishments." Behind his fingers, behind his cigar, Wheeler's mouth is stretched almost into a smile. The green awning overhead flaps and trembles in the wind. "Let's raise a glass to the man," he says. "To his speedy recovery." "Whatever you like, boss," Alma says. "Though I hope you'll treat your poor, injured clerk to the round, seeing as I was robbed and can barely afford a coal fire on my wages. A desperate soul, cold and hungry as you keep me," she says as they cross Water Street. "You're a monster." He is almost smiling again, the cigar clamped between his teeth, his hat brim blotting his eyes so she can't quite gauge how her humor is landing. She walks beside him, not a step behind. They pass the tall windows of Watermen and Cats, spice bottles and twill jackets and candles arrayed behind the glass. The merchant hovering in the next doorway calls to Wheeler, comes out into the crunchy mud to shake his hand. Wheeler promises a new crate of Brown's 4-Crown Scotch by the following week. Alma keeps her fists in her pockets, keeps quiet. She doesn't look like a clerk in Camp's getup, but she can play any part Wheeler gives her. She won't be tripped. Out onto the long, boot-shaped expanse of Quincy Wharf, Wheeler's brisk puffs of cigar smoke rising. He doesn't even glance at the old cannery, at its plank stoop where two of Sloane's men lounge reptilian in the sun. Opposite the cannery, a neat, whitewashed boarding house. Then the narrow passage between buildings widens into a platform over the bay. On it, a triangle of buildings, the Chainlocker Saloon, a freight warehouse, and on the bayside, in a prime loading spot, the tawny brick walls of Wheeler's own Clyde Imports. Sitting out front is the big man who knifed Alma that morning. He's back at whittling, his blade a quick glimmer in the shadows. At their approach, he hefts himself up, shakes wood shavings off his buckskin jacket. Alma wants to get closer, wink at him, show him she's good friends with the boss. But Wheeler stops at the Chainlocker's low door, 30 yards from the Clyde Imports warehouse. She leaves the big man to his knife. Inside, the saloon is dim, all latticed shadows, closed ceiling beams, thick pillars, smells of kelp and damp wood. The lanterns salvaged off some ancient hulk, their frames warped with salt. There are a few men at the tables, too early in the afternoon for a full house. Bills for the boxing match are tacked along the bar. Wheeler stands at the counter, waiting for the keep. "I was serious about you treating." Alma elbows up next to him. "I've got nothing on me." He stubs his cigar into an ashy metal dish, leaves the bar of his forearm lowered between their bodies. At the other end of the counter, some 10 feet down, the keep polishes glasses. He sees them. He must see them. But he finishes one glass, picks up another. "Why are we really here?" she says. "A social call. The welcome's not too friendly." A patron approaches the keep, who takes his time pouring the man's drink. "No,"